and 8th special presentation.
In this edition of Art Beat Nation, an author and illustrator reveals his personal history through his work.
I have no idea how the viewer, the editor, or the world in general, the publisher, is going to react to it.
An artisan who turned a childhood hobby into a career.
A lot of kids play with cardboard shields and wooden swords. I just never stopped.
A photographer on a mission to document the American frontier.
As a group, they're very proud of their heritage. They're very proud of what they do.
And a beatboxer who is turning the tables on traditional art forms.
Because there were some people who didn't like that I was beatboxing for ballet.
It's all ahead on Art Beat Nation. Funding for Art Beat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you. First, we meet Japanese-born illustrator and author Alan Say. He has written and illustrated dozens of children's books and has won some of the highest honors in his field, including the Caldecott Medal. But as you'll see, for the author, the urge to tell stories, often deeply personal ones, is what drives him.
That is the time when I feel most vulnerable. I have no control over it. I have no idea how the viewer, the editor, or the world in general, the publisher, is going to react to it.
The 23rd book Alan Say has both written and illustrated will soon be winging its way to Scholastic Books. He's putting a few final touches on the book, but he still has to write it.
I really couldn't write the text until I have all the art ready.
He walks us through some of his ideas.
My father lives with a 20-pound cat named Tofu. He calls me his favorite daughter. I'm an only child. She comes home, she's glum, and she's devastated. Everybody laughed at her. Who's ever heard of a Japanese doll with blonde hair? And the new art teacher can't pronounce my name, Daddy. She keeps calling me Eureka.
The upcoming book tells the story of his daughter Yuriko and her occasional sense while growing up of feeling outside mainstream culture.
I want an American name. What kind of a name? Michelle. This is what they're discussing.
That theme of the outsider crops up in many of Say's books. Another hallmark of an Alan Say book is the way it taps into his personal story. Autobiographical details and family history are classic ingredients. Born in Yokohama in 1937, Say's childhood was far from easy. It would be touched by war, dislocation, and family turmoil. Alan's saving grace was cartooning, a passion not shared by his father.
It was disgraceful to want to be a cartoonist in those days. For a middle-class household to have the first son who wants to be an artist was a disaster, especially to my father, who was a very successful businessman, and I never got over it.
When the war came, Alan's mother, attempting to protect her children, fled with them to a farming community not far from Hiroshima.
We were very near when the bomb dropped. There was this tremendous jolt, and we ran out of the house. It's a very mountainous area. Of course, we couldn't see anything. But we were close enough that one of my cousins used to commute to go to work. And she came back that afternoon, one of the victims. She survived, but it was an awful thing.
His parents divorced not long after the war. Alan was sent to live with his grandmother in Tokyo so that he could attend a good school. But his grandmother also disapproved of his cartooning. Their relationship strained, she made a surprising arrangement. She let Alan, a mere boy, have his own place.
I started living alone when I was 12 years old and in this one-room apartment. And I wanted to be a grown-up, an adult. So, in order to be an adult, first you buy a newspaper.
And that was how Alan Say learned that the renowned cartoonist Noro Shinpei took on apprentices.
He was one of the most famous cartoonists in my day, certainly my favorite. His cartoons were very, very funny. He was outrageously funny.
The next day, Alan sought him out. He worked with the master artist and another apprentice every day after school. Noro Shinpei would become Alan Say's great teacher, or sensei.
When I went looking for him, I thought I was simply following the old Japanese samurai tradition. At the age of 13 or 14, coming of age, the person will go out and look for a master to serve under. And in order to learn a craft, this is what we used to do in the old days. But when I grew up a little bit, I suddenly realized that wasn't what I was doing. I was trying to effectively replace my father. And I was incredibly lucky. He obviously intuited that.
The apprenticeship solidified Alan's love of art. It paved the way for his career as an illustrator. In 1953, Say's father came back into his life and took him to the U.S. But Noro Shinpei's influence on Alan, whom he nicknamed Kiyoi, was lasting. Alan always held out hope that he would work again with his sensei. And it seems Noro Shinpei felt the same, as he told his daughter.
Just prior to his death, she asked him if there was anything left that he wanted to do, and he said, that's when he said, Kiyoi is a treasure of my life, that I would like to work on a book with him.
Alan Say's drawing from memory is the collaboration that Noro Shinpei wished for. Say has combined his artwork, personal photos, and examples of his sensei's cartooning to make a poignant tribute to their deep and lasting relationship.
And that is my way of honoring his wish.
Alan Say's next book, Hopper's Room, will detail his early years in the States. Meanwhile, The Favorite Daughter will be released the summer of 2013. Next, Minnesota-based artisan Christopher Poor takes us inside his shop, where he handcrafts medieval and Renaissance replicas using old-world methods. From suits of armor to shields and swords, Poor researches, models, and creates his work from historical artifacts.
When I was 6, I got a full suit of Japanese armor for my birthday, which was pretty amazing, actually. You know, you're 6 years old and you open that package and there's a 17th century suit of armor that you get to run around in like a little maniac. A lot of kids play with cardboard shields and wooden swords. I just never stopped. I'm Chris Poor, and I'm an armorer. Arms and Armor is a business I started in about 1980, and what it has become is a place where you can get the most accurate historical copy of just about any piece of arms and armor in the last 1,000 years. Early on, we made contacts with several museums in Europe. We did things with the Wallace Collection, which is a museum in London. We actually were doing some things a little bit for Royal Armories. In this country, we've done everything from the title weapons for Ernest Scared Stupid, right on through to the latest Cate Blanchett Elizabeth movie, where we did all the high-end rapiers. We've got stuff on display in the Chicago Art Institute. We do work here in Minneapolis with the Art Institute, where we come in with original pieces and show replicas. The Globe Theatre in London. So you can travel the world and you will spot our things. This is an elbow. This will go right here. And when you close your arm, That's about the movement you get. And these fins will close the gap. When it's extended, you still have protection. We try to replicate the original techniques as much as possible. A lot of the tools that existed 500 years ago today exist in miniature. The only people that use a lot of those tools anymore would be silversmiths. So the hammers weigh 4 ounces or 5 ounces. I need the 3-pound version. You've seen quite a few tools. I would say 80% of those we've made. That's partially why we get such good results, because we're trying to stay faithful to their techniques. Now you have the whole unit, which you can move this way, and pivot that way. The whole thing will sit right there. We try to capture the essence, the spirit, and the feel of the original. And partially it's made easier for us because we have a lot of originals. It's a lot easier when you've got a 16th century original to look at. And as you can see, there's a lot of similarities. The difference being I made this last week, and somebody made this in about 1570. Wherever possible, we will handle the original. For example, if we're going to put a new sword in our catalog, if possible, I'll go to the museum where that sword is. What I want to be able to do is take the original and take ours and set them down side by side and not really be able to tell the difference. This is a suit of armor we're building for a private individual. It's based on a German one from about 1510. If you add up every little element, yeah, there's probably close to 100 pieces of metal in an armor like this. This is definitely an artistic endeavor. It's really free-form sculpture. When you're doing a suit of armor, really what are you doing but creating a hollow, life-size sculpture in more or less the form of a human being. We start out with flat pieces of steel, and we hammer it out and shape it and fit it and polish it and do all the work. What we're working on here is a custom sword hilt. We have a picture. We go from that picture to figuring out the shape. We take bars of steel like this, and with many, many hours filing, hammering, welding, we turn these into something like this. And we're matching it exactly to a historical original. And when we put a grip, which is the handle you'd actually hang on to, you've got a finished sword.
It takes about as much time to think about the project as it does to actually do it. I'd say in a nutshell, that's about it. That's the process.
Okay, now we're going to heat treat the head. We're going to place it on the fire, get it hot, and then use the process of quenching the steel to create a piece that is going to be hard, durable, and springy.
By Viking age, in 700, a sword is supposed to be able to bend into an arc and snap back. So by the 7th century, people have figured out how to heat treat steel effectively so that you'll get a spring instead of a paperclip.
Looks pretty good. You can tell when your heat treat's relatively successful because you'll get this shiny gray, or kind of a flat gray, I guess. But the scale comes right off. That means it's gone hard.
Part of why I'm doing this is because I was well enough educated to find out what it was all about and appreciate it. You don't just teach the history of swords and the history of armor. That's pretty limited. What we try to do is teach history using these as hooks, as props. And if we can bring them into a wider world through this portal, through this entry point of loving swords or armor, well, that's a great thing.
To see more of Christopher Poor's work, visit his website, armor.com. Next, meet photographer Scott Baxter, who has found inspiration in the American frontier. For most of the last decade, Baxter has photographed over 100 cattle ranchers and their family-owned ranches. As you'll see in our profile segment, he's found a way of preserving the centuries-old traditions of America's true cowboys.
Some of these ranches that we're photographing aren't going to be around because, development's going to find it, its way in. And there's a lot of ranches I know that there's no one coming up behind them, so they'll most likely be sold. And I just thought, what if photographically I could at least try to record some of these families that have been around here since 1912 or earlier. And that's it kind of started that way. I didn't really plan to do anything with it. I just wanted to see if I could accomplish it. We call it 100 years, 100 ranchers. And basically the criteria is the family has been ranching in Arizona continuously since 1912 or earlier.
My ancestors came here from Valencia, Spain in the 1840s, and they were coming to Tucson by covered wagon. This is the Amado family, my great-grandfather. About 1852 is when they set up the ranch at Alamo Bonito in what is called Amado.
This family is a very historic family, goes back a long ways, and a beautiful ranch too. And one of my, Santa Cruz County is probably one of my favorite places to be in the whole state. Photographs should be really easy for you to look at. You know, it doesn't mean it has to be Pollyannish or, you know, beautiful or anything. It just has to be easy. And if it's easy, it's good. And then, Henry, just kind of right in the middle. If I push too hard, if I really try too hard to push a photograph, it just doesn't work out for me. I kind of let the photograph come to me. There's not a set process. I want to get this side too because it's got your brand on the horse's shoulder. I have, you know, aside from scouting a little bit the day before and knowing I wanted to use that big sycamore tree, there's not a, you know, I don't have like a list of what I'm going to do. I just kind of walk in and it's kind of the way I've always worked. I just kind of wing it and kind of works for me. Doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. Perfect, guys. Okay. The last one with this camera for now, at least.
I was standing there
Okay, straight in.
last evening by the tree with between two horses and with my son and grandson on each side of me. Very proud.
It just gives you an idea. It's a small shot. Now you got to kind of look at it, but you want to show that pride. I mean, they're very, as a group, they're very proud of their heritage. They're very proud of what they do. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're gonna shoot a few more with this camera. With the portraits, you just kind of, you know, you kind of take a little more time and kind of get your frame up the way you want it, and then you read your light and you shoot it.
5.6, 125.
I think it's a wonderful thing that Scott came up with this idea.
But this is actually very nice where we're at now.
It's recorded history.
I don't think they're really looking for recognition, but I think they like the fact that there's going to be a record of this somewhere for their kids. I treated this in a lot of ways just like it could have been shot, 100 years ago. I bring a digital with me, but that's just to shoot stuff for them. But we're shooting just straight black and white film, no lights. So it's basically camera, film, and a tripod. And that kind of forces me to really think about my composition a lot because I don't have a lot of tricks in my bag. And it kind of makes you think a little bit more as a photographer.
I don't know of any rancher that doesn't work hard. They have to. No, I don't have to do this. I've always been a very successful CPA, and with my son as my partner, the business is still going, and maybe that's why I can afford to be here, because if he's there, I don't have to be at the office. But I enjoy being here, and at my age, I deserve to be here. I think it's love of the ranch, love of the land.
The brandings can be kind of exciting. You got two guys roping and dragging calves, and you got 3 or 4 cowboys stowing calves on the ground. And sometimes with the action stuff, I don't really have time to do too much, but just kind of hang in there. You don't want to be the cause of somebody getting hurt. You don't want to be the cause of livestock getting injured, and you certainly don't want to get hurt yourself. So you stay dialed into the frame, but you certainly kind of have to have a few things going on in your head at the same time and keep yourself cognizant of really what's going on around you. Now this one is a little bit more, this is like the old style. This takes, it won't blow up. Yeah. I've not had a bad experience. And I've got a story for every single ranch that I've been at. That's perfect right there. Hold that. The photographs are kind of the icing on the cake, but the real thing is I just... Thank you, sir. It's in. Yeah, that's it. They're a great group of people, and I've just been real honored to to have the opportunity to meet them and spend some time with them. They're all hardworking. They're just hardworking people who just they love what they do. You know, and they really love the land. I mean, that's the thing that I've kind of come away with is they really love this land and they really want to take care of it.
Baxter has released a book for his 100 Years, 100 Ranchers project. For more information, visit 100years100ranchers.com. And now, an artist who crosses traditional lines of music, dance, and performance. Sho Decay is a professional beatbox artist and vocal percussionist with a dynamic and improvisational style.
I've always been to the qualities of sounds. I used to do a lot of sound emulations from cartoons, from movies. The transition from vocal mimicry of sounds to creating music happened when I was in high school. I was already a heavy, avid listener of a lot of hip-hop and all forms of music, actually, a lot of rock and roll, more jazz. That's when I started to tune my ear and my vocal abilities to trying to create more music with it. And then in my freshman year of college, I started to explore more musical options with what I had available with my voice. And I joined an a cappella group. When that happened, I had opportunities to compose as a vocal percussionist. So instead of just always backing up MCs or battling DJs, which is a whole other form of composition within itself, I was given a new challenge. I had to capture something emotional this time, because we didn't just do one specific style or genre of music with the a cappella group that I was in. We did a wide variety of genres, and that was a very important moment in transitioning to my career as a musician. I think I've always wanted to work within varying genres of music, and I didn't realize it until these opportunities sort of came to me. Like, for example, I was our musical accompanist for this poetry event called Slamside, and it was my job to accompany the other musicians and the other spoken word artists. And there was one fateful day, January 2006, Vincent Thomas, a professor of modern dance here at Towson University, was in the audience. He approached me about having me come in and play music for a dance class. I thought he meant for like a week or two, or maybe 2 weeks, but he meant for the entire semester, actually. So when that happened, a whole new world just opened up to me. I was at that point willing and able to take it to anywhere, just to see where I stood as a musician, if I can match wits with these different forms, whether it was in dance or even the visual arts, doing musical interpretations of still work and trying to find ways to have music as a tool bring the artwork to life, those sorts of challenges. And also to not just challenge myself, but to challenge the people within these genres who aren't used to these sorts of experiences, to kind of challenge their notions or preconceived ideas of what a beatboxer is supposed to do or not supposed to do. Because there were some people who didn't like that I was beatboxing for ballet, but I kind of didn't care, because I was there not just to challenge myself, but to challenge them too. I know I always want to work as an accompanist for dance. It's not even a performance, it's like praying for self-improvement, not just for myself, but for the professor, the students. It's a very unique experience that kind of goes beyond any description through words. I just want to keep myself inspired, keep others inspired, keep myself from burning out, doing a lot of work for little to nothing. Fundraising is an art form I want to master. I'm working on that.
For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find featured videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation was made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you.